let's get started, you guys. Today is ugly sweater night at the Tom Anastos radio show, so if you come, we hope that you put yourself in. Whole team is going to be there. We'll come up with some good prizes. So Neil, that sweater's too nice for tonight. You got to come up with something a little better than that. Nice color, but got to come up with something a little better than that. Yeah. So let's talk about Wisconsin first, and then I'll talk a little bit about Northeastern. But the Wisconsin series, results aside, I thought Friday night, I thought a lot of our game was pretty good and felt pretty good about how we played. Obviously felt good that we were able to come back from a couple deficits and find a way to win. Saturday, aside from the result, I just didn't feel that we had enough guys going that night. And that was the most frustrating part aside from losing the game. And so not to take anything away from Wisconsin, I thought they stepped up a notch from the night before and played very tough defensively. But I didn't think we had enough guys going throughout our lineup that night, and we got what we deserved, which was a frustrating night and a frustrating result. So we've got to improve in that regard. There just wasn't enough to our game to give us a chance to win that night. So as we progress this week for Northeastern, I think all of you know it's kind of a unique experience, which is cool for the team. It was Mark Hollis's concept a few years ago to have our teams travel out there together and play in their arena, which to my understanding is the oldest arena in America, if that's right. And so Friday night we're going to fly with men's basketball. We practiced yesterday. I gave the guys the day off today, really to focus on their studies. A lot of exams today and tomorrow in particular. We'll practice tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and then we'll fly out with men's basketball team Friday. We'll have dinner with their team when we get to Boston. And then we'll go and watch and support the women's team that night. And then the next day we'll have a morning skate. Basketball plays, I think, at 12:30, I want to say. And we'll come for a good share of that game and then go through our preparation. Obviously, they have to flip the building, and then we play at night. So I think our guys are, while they're kind of entrenched in their schoolwork right now, they'll look forward to that. And we'll look forward to playing Northeastern, a team we don't know all that much about. I think when you look at some of their numbers, they're similar to ours. They played a good schedule. I think the only common opponent we've played to date is BC. They played them last weekend and had a tie and a one-goal loss. I watched them play last year a number of times. I thought they were a real fast team. And how'd they do I watched the Bean Pot. They didn't win the Bean Pot, but they played real well in the Bean Pot, as I remember. And they've got some real good players on their team. One kid in particular, this Roy kid, is a very, very good player, very dynamic player. I was thinking back to some time ago because we played Northeastern here my sophomore year. We opened the season with Northeastern, and Fern Flaman was their coach, and we had a brawl. I remembered we had a brawl. It was our first two games of the year. So I asked Barnesy today to pull it. He pulled the box score. And so we won the first night. What was the score of that night? 5-2. And must have been ugly because the second night, from the get-go, 1 minute into the game, penalties started.
How many minutes did you have?
I got thrown out for leaving the bench in the brawl.
You ever get thrown out?
I don't know if I left the bench to go on the ice or left the bench to go to the dressing room.
You ever been thrown out?
No, that was the only game. I don't even remember getting thrown out of that game, but I don't remember getting thrown out of a college game other than maybe this one. A lot of penalties in this game. But the irony of it is, the only reason I bring it up is their coach today, Jimmy Madigan, played in that game.
He did?
Yeah. And Randy Busick, who was a teammate of mine a couple years later in Sherbrooke, and he won a Stanley Cup. He got called up at the end of our minor league season, and he won the Stanley Cup with the Canadians that year. Yeah, and Madigan and Busick were really close friends. So it's kind of funny how all this time elapses. But anyway, for us, it's an important weekend to go out there to find our game, to feel good about going into the break. And so, it's some ways a good thing and a bad thing that, we certainly didn't want to go into the break coming off the game that we just played. And yet at the same time, our first half hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go. And so, I think that the break will come at a good time. So I think our guys will be looking forward to the experience. Once school's over here, they can just focus on playing hockey for a game, which I think will be nice to do for a little bit, and then head into the break. So with that.
I only saw Fridays on TV and went to Saturday's game. The unforced turnovers would be maddening to you. I don't know what your description is. Can you correct that, or what are they about?
Yeah, they're frustrating because they're leading to goals, and they're being generated from innocent plays. Really, I watched the Red Wings last night, and I turned it on with about 8 minutes to go. They're winning 1-0, and they give up a deflected goal, and then the winning goal. What amounted to the winning goal, they're trying to get the puck out of the zone. They have a chance to do it. They keep it in the zone, and all that Buffalo did was throw it towards the end. I don't want to say the net, towards the end. And it goes off a Red Wing skate onto somebody's stick and in the net. And that's how it's been for us. And it's if you go back to the origination of the play, we have an opportunity to make plays to just kind of advance. And for whatever reason, we're making some simple mistakes that are leading to, not always directly to goals. One did on Saturday. One just bad read, bad decision, ends up in our net. But the others went into the zone. We had opportunities to advance it out. We didn't. Now we're defending. And even the goals didn't go in directly. They went off of other people. So it's been maddening. I think that's a good word that you used. And it's led to frustration, and we've got to try to fight through that and keep grinding to build some confidence. But we have to correct it. We have to correct it. We have to figure out ways to give better outs and execute so it doesn't lead to these circumstances, because they cause frustration. And it's been a growing amount of frustration that we didn't deal with very well on Saturday. We allowed it to get to us.
Tom, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Zach Osborne. I know early in the season you kind of put out the comparison to Torrey Krug a little bit. I was just wondering if as he's starting to pile up these points, if he's starting to meet those expectations a little bit.
I don't want to compare anybody to Torrey. I think Zach comes here having watched Torrey for a number of years and being from a similar area. He got to grow up and kind of watch Krug's track, and given both their size and their style of play, that would be a natural comparison for Zach to make. But the fact is, he's got a long way to go to get his game to where Torrey ultimately got his game here, and he's going to go through a similar process. And I think what's important for Zach is I think he's getting better. He's added a nice dimension back there. He can shoot it. He can get shots through, which is a skill today from the blue line. One of his challenges is sometimes he decides he's going to try to carry pucks through people rather than pass pucks by people. And he made that mistake. He's made it a few times this year that ended up being goals. And he's got to learn from that. And so those are mistakes that I hope he'll learn from sooner rather than later, and I trust that he will. He loves the game, plays hard. That's a tough way for both him and the team to learn. And but he's got a very good skill set, and throughout his hockey career, that's one of the things that he's been able to do. But each level you go up, it's harder to skate through people, and you've got to pick your spots as to when to move the puck and when to carry the puck. And so he's got a good skill set. He'll have a terrific career here, and he's going to go through the ups and downs of making mistakes, as will we. and hopefully, these are the kinds that won't be all that repetitive. But I think he has a really bright future here.
How has he responded to that, the drop puck on Saturday? Has he kind of been working a little bit harder on working through that kind of thing? Or?
Well, yesterday we just came out and had a very hard skate. And he, like all his teammates, worked really hard, which I would have expected. So, I'm sure if I'm him, that sits in my mind. We gave him time to sit on the bench and think about that a little bit after it happened. And what you have to do is learn to play over it, learn to set it aside, but most importantly, learn from it and not allow it to take place again. And I'm confident that he will.
Can you pinpoint what is happening in the power play that you're not as effective as you want to be?
Well, there's a number of things. We're not getting, to me, our puck decisions haven't been good. We haven't gotten the puck. Sometimes when you're feeling a little frustrated, the way you start playing the game is you force things that aren't available. And I think that would summarize the power play, is that we're not taking what's given to us and showing a patience to find things as they open. We're deciding when we're out there, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to move it here. Well, that doesn't work normally. You have to show a level of patience. And so in spite of, I thought we've practiced pretty good. We've moved some things around. But yet, when it has been time to execute, we haven't executed, and it's up to this point, it's been more cause for frustration than it has been momentum, and that's what we have to flip. Because I didn't like anything about it on Saturday, like nothing. I didn't think we came up the ice with any speed. Yeah, there was nothing to like, and so we'll go back to the drawing board and change some personnel around and keep working towards, because that's something that we came in the season saying we've got to get this better. We have to find a way to win special teams, and our penalty kill has given us that chance, but our power play has not, with a level of consistency, even generated the number of shots. Like I would like to generate more danger in front of the net. And just getting pucks there, and we haven't done a good enough job with that. So we've got to continue. In fact, maybe we're practicing it too much. I've been on both sides of it where, heck, you're not even practicing it, and you go out and have some success with it. Yeah, but we've got to find some solutions for that. Whether it's in scheme, personnel, or both, we have to improve that.
Give this any thought. How do you play over frustration?
I don't know if you play over it or if you play through it. I think you have to recognize it. Like, I talked to some players that I thought were trying to take on too much and call it to guys' attention and say, hey, listen, I love how hard you're working. I know we're all kind of dealing with a level of frustration, and we have to continue to figure out how to manage it until we can break through it, and get some puck luck and create some things that can help you feel better. And so I think it's just a grind. You have to just grind through it. You can't let it get to you, and you can't keep stopping to find solutions, because that's really what leads to frustration, right? When you're not getting the results and you really aren't sure what to do to get the results. And I think we have ideas on how to get better results. It's a matter of going out to executing it and not allowing the ebb and flow of games that don't always go your way to negatively impact your line of thinking or how you play. And that's what happens. Like the first period Saturday, it was up and down. It was fine. I thought we were pretty average in our play. So I thought, but you get out of the period, it's even. The next period, you're not playing as well as you like, but a shot comes from the point and it's going 15 feet wide and it hits one of your guys' skates and goes in. Well, that's been happening to us. And so for whatever reason, we're not living right, and we're now dealing with the frustration of, geez, what's it going to take to turn this over? So now guys start pressing, trying to do more, getting outside of what you're doing, and that never really helps. So my job is to try to keep that channeled in the right direction, keep it focused, and yet there's guys working real hard to try to change that momentum. And that's what we're battling through, trying to find the right balance.
Talking about being a little more dangerous in front, you guys have a couple of big bodies, and one of them is William Hague, but he hasn't been in the lineup as of late. Is he struggling right now, or is there things he's going through?
Yeah, no, I thought he's been struggling, and I thought the last week or so of practice, we've started to see him. He's battling confidence, and that's a tough thing to battle, and he's working hard at it. And I'd like to see him get his game, where we think it's capable of, because I think he can help our team. And, he can create a presence in front. He's a big, strong kid. He can create a presence down low. But I think he's battling confidence, like a few guys in particular, and trying to find his game. So he's had some good practices as of late, and, we'll see as we go forward this week if he's able to work his way back into the lineup.
Has it been like a tough adjustment for him, too, with the different styles of play over in Sweden?
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it. I think the hockey here is more chaotic in terms of its tempo and probably the physicality for sure, and the space that you have to play. And there you're playing on a bigger ice surface, which gives you a little bit more time. I think some of his best games have been played on big ice surfaces, which would make total sense at Minnesota or at Wisconsin. So he's working hard at his game. And, again, I've been saying the word frustration a lot. And, in fact, I sat with him and talked to him about my sophomore year. I went through a really tough period and lost confidence, and you're trying to find your way. And that's not easy to fight through and fight your way out. And yet I think he's approaching it the right way. And a couple of our guys are kind of in that spot, and we're trying to, work our way through it. So it's not easy when you get there. It's like when you're playing really well and everything's going for you. Geez, you're in that zone, and it seems like everything you do is right. And when you do make a mistake, it doesn't cost you. And then when you're on the other route, you start to stand around. You're waiting for things to happen because you're afraid to make a mistake, and you can't play that way either. So trying to get guys out of that funk is difficult to do.
2 weeks ago, I think going into Penn State, you thought like you were really close. Mm-hmm. Has anything happened in the last 2 weeks to not believe in that, or are you further away than you thought, or what's your feeling on that now?
Well, I think I don't think we're further away than I thought, but I don't think that we're playing with the kind of confidence that you need to have success, and we have to find a way to gain that. And the only way you gain it is by starting to have some success. And so pucks going in, pucks staying out. Building on positives and cleaning up negatives. And so we're going to continue to try to tweak, whether it's personnel, our lines, our systems of play, whatever it is, to try to, make gains each week. And we're not looking down the road. We're just looking at the next game to try to build on some confidence. And, Friday night we came out. We got a win. It was a comeback win. And yet, I can't say that we came out of that game and everybody thought, our game's back. We felt we made some strides, but we still felt we have a ways to go to get to where we want to be. And when I say we, I'm not talking about just the coaching staff. I'm talking about the players too. So, no, I think a lot of this group. I really do. I think it's a very close-knit group. We're battling through some things in the first half of the season. We didn't have as good a first half, not that it's over yet, but that we hoped for. And but there's a lot of fight in this group, and our goals are still ahead of us, and nobody's won a championship in December in our sport. So that's what we have to keep looking at.
Tom, can the example of last year in which you had a sort of a similar record, and even in early January there was a little bit of a hitch there. Can the example of last year help you as far as like what you accomplished last year in the second half, the way things turned around? Yeah,
I think so. I think guys can understand that when you start putting things together and start getting on a roll and building confidence and having success, it breeds more success. And So we have a lot of guys who were on that team last year and can look towards that. And there have been teams that have gone on good runs that had slow starts, throughout the NCAA that we can call to North Dakota. I think UMass Lowell a few years back, had a real slow start and ended up taking a real good run in the NCAA tournament. So we can't look too far down the road, though. Where we're at is we've got to find our game right here, right now, within ourselves each week that we play and try to build on it. So our first opportunity to do that, our next opportunity is this Saturday against Northeastern. Then we have a break. I think the break will be really good for us. And then you get the Great Lakes tournament, so you play in a little different environment, have something to play for. I think guys will really look forward to that. And then we come out of that, we're back in Big Ten play, and we play against Michigan. So,
couple things. So when you go out to Boston, where's your morning skate on the day of the game?
we're skating at BU.
BU.
Mm-hmm.
The new rink or the old rink? Or don't you know?
I don't know. I think the new rink, but I'm not sure now that you mentioned that. Yeah.
So that you'll skate there and then go over the.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to take our equipment. So we're going to practice here. We'll take our gear when we arrive there to Northeastern. We'll leave it there, and then the next morning, our equipment group will take our gear over to BU. We'll go over there, practice, and then come back to Northeastern for the basketball game.
And then one other thing is, when do you guys assemble back here to get ready for the
26th. We'll skate.
So not Christmas.
Yeah, no. This year the GLI I think's a day later, so we're going to come back on the evening of the 26th. That gives everybody a chance to be home with their families on Christmas, which we haven't been able to do the last 4 years. We've practiced on the 25th, and then we'll probably have a practice that night, probably 2 skates the next day, practice the day after, and then we'll go to Detroit, and then we'll have a morning skate on the day of our first game.
3:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Subject to change.
Let's make a little TV. Will you hold up that ugly sweater for us? So
Yeah,
we can see?
absolutely.
Did you own that, or did you go get it?
I bought it
When?
last night.
Which Salvation Army?
You didn't
store?
have.
No, I didn't have that. What do you think? That's pretty ugly, isn't it? It's even branded ugly sweater.
No, it's not.
Ugly Christmas sweater. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I had a couple options. That I was going to use. Wait till we're off here. I really like this one. It had a Christmas cookie on it, and it said, "Bite me." But I thought I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, but I liked it. I brought it right to the counter. Then I put that one back, and they didn't have a lot of options, but we went with this one.
Is this a first ugly sweater night?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We've never had it. Usually we're done. And so the guys would be taking their exams. We're not even skating. They go home. But this is an opportunity where we could actually take the team there. So the team's going to all go there tonight for dinner. And I told them to wear an ugly sweater tonight. So
it's the last radio show until January.
yeah, right.